Today I will teach you how to write a basic essay. And at the end of the video, if you are more proficient in English, I'll be teaching how to modify this basic essay into a more complicated one that you can send into the exam hall to get a higher band in your IELTS. Now, we'll look at this question. This is a question that has come out in the Malaysian syllabus in our SPM. The internet is mostly a good thing. Do you agree? Support your opinion. Now, whenever we come across questions like this, we either agree or disagree. And our decision does not base on our feelings. It is actually based on which side gives us more points. Because most people would agree. In our heads, we'd be thinking, oh yes, the internet is good, I get to play games, I get to surf the web, I get to use social media, I get so much attention, I get so much joy. Yes, we all understand, we all have that life because all of us, almost all of us, have access to technology. But when it comes to the exam, that shouldn't be the point. That shouldn't be the key thing that you think about when you want to write something to submit, because you're going to be graded for it. Now, what I like to do is whenever I get questions like these in the exam, I would like to split it into two groups. I would have a table on the side, a spare paper. I will list out all the benefits, all the things that can come good with the internet, and all the disadvantages, the cons of the internet. And I would weigh in my options. I would see which side of things would give me more points, because that's what I'm supposed to be looking for. Whether I can write, elaborate, and be precise about my facts, and to be able to support them, like the question requested. Now, I want you to take a few minutes, maybe about 10. It's okay to take time, pause the video, and just list out pros and cons of the internet. Okay, now that you've done so, we're going to look at the points that I have formulated beforehand. I'm just going to open this in another window. And I'm going to put them side by side. Okay, so the internet is mostly a good thing. Same question, but now let's look at this side of things. Okay, this side of things. If we agree, we should have points like these are the most common ones: communication, convenience, leisure, research, education, and news. If you hit any four of these, you're fine. You're on the right track. Now, if we disagree, we should have addiction, cyberbullying, information and data vulnerability, exposure to sensitive content, health issues, and that it shatters human interaction. Now, all of us, we've been brought up differently, okay? We have been exposed to different things in life, so it's okay if you disagree, it's okay if you agree. It doesn't really matter which side of things you pick, as long as you can back it up with this, with sufficient and concrete details, information. Now, we're gonna make a series to answer this question, and I'm gonna answer this question by elaborating points by points, all 6 of agrees and all 6 of disagrees. And then I'll be teaching you how to write the introduction and conclusion. You'll see that it's really, really easy. But we're going to skip the introduction and conclusion first, because that's a topic for another day. They have a complete different method of writing. Now, for now, let's say we pick communication. We need to know what we're going to be talking about when it comes to communication. And we have to be careful not to merge any of these points or thoughts with all the other points, because if we do that, we wouldn't have enough words or ideas to elaborate. Now, communication and convenience, are there any relationships? Well, yes, because communication is convenience. When you communicate online or through the internet, it's actually very convenient because there are no limits. You have no geographical restrictions. It's really that, and everything is free, especially now when you have WhatsApp, you have Messenger, you have Snapchat. So we have to be careful there. Okay, when we talk about convenience, we want to talk about how it saves time, how it saves money. And when we talk about communication, we have to talk about how it joins people together from like far ends of the earth. Now, communication and leisure, I think that's a very easy line to draw. Leisure would be all your games, your free time. Research, that would be about your university, your school. Education, that would yeah, okay, we're gonna have to draw a fine line between those two, research and education. We'll see in the video. I'll teach you how to write about it. Now, news, that's also a very completely separate topic to talk about. Okay, now let's start with communication. As you can see, I have actually written down the paragraph structure for each and every paragraph. Of course, this is the basic, and over time you will see in our videos, I will modify this paragraph structure to show you more complex ones. When we're more experienced, I'll show you how to write more even experienced essays. Okay. Now, the first sentence would be our point, and then we'll have to explain, we'll have to give an example, explain again, and then our final sentence would be either our views, hopes, or suggestions. And these are what's gonna help with our thinking, the thinking table, or as most people know it as, the 5 W's and 1 H. Okay, the what, who, why, when, where, and hows. Okay, let's say we take communication as our first point. Now, I want you to just put communication in a sentence, because in our structure, point is our very first sentence. So look over on your right. The internet is good for communication. Something like that. Something as simple as that. We don't need to make it as complicated as anything, because this is just a basic essay. And then at the end of the video, I'll teach you how to modify that into a better, stronger, more compact, more concrete essay. And that would be for the more advanced writers. Okay, our second sentence would be explanation. Now, the internet is good for communication. We're gonna have to explain this. We're gonna use the thinking tables to do so. The internet is good for communication. What? Now, we can put this question in front or behind our key point. And our point here is communication. It's good for communication. It's good for what kind of communication? It's good for communicating what? It's good for who? Communicating. Or it's good for communicating who? Or communicating why? Communicating when? Communicating where? And communicating how? Whichever strikes a light bulb in your head, you write about it, because everyone has different experiences. But for me, the internet is good for communication because I love social media. I'm addicted to it. Okay, and I use it a lot. I communicate with all my friends through social media, Facebook, Instagram. I mean, WhatsApp is fine, but I still love them because it keeps me updated about my friends. Now, we're gonna write about the why, because I'm a science-based student, so I always love to give reasons. So the presence, or let's write something simple. Social media. Okay, we'll talk about social media. Social media allows us to connect to people throughout the world. Okay, now our third sentence would be the example. So we can either give examples of these situations or examples of social media. Since all of you already know what social media apps are, the examples of them, we're not going to go that way. We're going to go the other road, which is to, give examples of this situation, allowing us to connect to people throughout the world. Apps like this is also like giving examples of those social media websites. Apps like Facebook hits us with friend suggestions. And do you remember this? People whom you may know. okay? Facebook does this to a lot of us, remember? They give friend suggestions, that's in a list, people who you may know, that's in another list, and then mutual friends. And then our second explanation, like right over here, our second explanation would be to talk more about this because we can't leave this hanging. This is like a cliffhanger, okay? Apps like Facebook hits us with this. And how does this relate to our point, which is the communication part? Well, this allows us to expand our social circle and make friends in completely different regions of the world, of the earth, of the world, whatever you want. Okay, but because I already have used the word world once, I'm going to change this into earth. So it's going to sound more scientific. Okay, now, my views, hopes, or suggestions. Facebook, do I need to hope for anything? I don't think so, because he's already, I mean, the website itself, it's already successful, it's already great, so I don't need to hope for anything. Do I need to suggest anything? I mean, if you have any suggestions to Facebook, you can write them in your essay, you can send it as a feedback form to Facebook itself. So what I'm going to talk about is the views. How do I look at this whole thing? Now, whenever you come to the last sentence, it's the ribbon that wraps up the entire paragraph. So look at it again. The internet is good for communication. Social media allows us to connect to people throughout the world. Apps like Facebook hits us with friend suggestions and people who you may know. This allows us to expand our social circle and make friends in completely different regions of the earth. In short, we can build relationships and maintain them without worrying about geographical restrictions. Or differences in time zones. Now, this is a fairly basic essay. We've followed every structure here and the points that I've placed on the left. Now, I'm going to keep that on the side. If you're just looking for a way on how to write your essays, the video has ended. You can move on to the next part. But if you're a more advanced writer, we're going to learn how to change all these simple stuff into a more complicated, more complex paragraph, okay? Now, the internet is good for communication. I want you to think back when you did comprehensions, when you read articles, and all the words that you know. What can you add into this? In this sentence itself, the very first sentence, think about the things that you can add. Okay, remember, it's the point sentence. So you're only going to tell me what your point is going to be, what you're going to talk about in this specific paragraph. The internet is good. What can we change the good into something better? A more diverse word, something more rarely seen? Now, it's actually an easy step. We don't have to do this on our own because this is still practice. So what I'm going to do is I am going to open Chrome. Yeah, I was learning how to make what length I should make. Okay, so I got Chrome and I got Word, both of these on one page. It's fine if you're doing this for practice, but don't do this during the exam. This will both help us to learn words and solidify them in our memory. Now, good. I'm just going to type good and definition. Now, as you can see, you open up this bracket and you can see words like quality, superior, satisfactory, acceptable, adequate. Which one of these words would best fit that paragraph? well, if I had to pick, it would be well, it could be important, like this. It could be meaningful, influential. Magnificent. It's a little too far, but it's still okay. Okay. I'm gonna pick important, or actually, there's a word that can replace important, which is crucial. The internet is crucial for communication, and I'm gonna expand what I mean by communication. For communicating with our peers, colleagues, or family members, or even family members. Oh, communicating. Okay. Sorry, just my tablet's a little laggy. Social media allows us to connect to people throughout the world. Social media, I can't change anything, but allows, yes. I can change allows. Connect, I can change. Throughout, I might be able to change. Okay. But I think I already have a sentence for this. Acts as a medium to connect people all over the world. Now, all over, we could actually change that, I think. Okay, to connect people universally. Apps like Facebook hits us with friend requests. Hits us. Hits us would be suggesting. So let's look for that word. And then we'll look at the possible synonyms that we can insert. Facebook proposes, recommends, hints, tips. Yeah, basically that's it. So apps like Facebook proposes, sends us friend suggestions and proposals on people who you may know. Okay, so that's just a little expansion. It's not the best, but it's a little something. Now, this allows us to expand our social circle and make friends in completely different regions of the earth. I would try to change expands. Okay, it would be diversify. It would be broaden. It would be builds up. This one. It could be proliferating as a different kind of growth. Yeah, this is in number. It's not used that way. I mean, to me. Okay, amplifies is a different word. So, I would use diversify. To diversify, expand, or you can actually add the word and, diversify. So that just adds to your paragraph. And make friends in, and make friends, we can change that. Okay, and okay, making friends is almost the same as earning friends, right? Okay, that would be in labor or services. To gain friends, yeah, gaining is making. Gain, definition. Procure might be it. Obtain with care or effort. We don't do that with friends. Attain, succeed in achieving something you have worked for. I mean, we need to work for friends, but we don't say it that way. You can even use your own words. You don't have to use mine or what I've shown. What I've shown here, it's just an example of what we could possibly write. Okay? Oh, sorry, that was a notification. Okay, so this allows us to expand and diversify our social circle and make friends in completely different regions of the earth. I wouldn't change anything else. Maybe you want to think of something. In short, we can build relationships and maintain them without worrying about geographical restrictions or differences in time zones. Maybe differences we can change. Okay, we can use the similarities. We can use the gaps. Yeah, so I would use the similarities. In time zones. In short, we can build relationships. Build, we might change. Build, definition. Augment? No. We can forge. Yeah. We can forge relationships. I don't really like to write that way. So I'm going to just change maintain. Definition. Okay, so maintain could be prolong or conserve or retain. Yeah, okay. So I would use and sustain or retain. I would use retain because it sounds more natural to me. Whatever that sounds natural to you, use that because you're going to remember that during your exams. You're not going to remember what I teach you right now. I mean, well, the gist of it you will. But whatever you can think about, if you have your own version of this answer, go for it. Write it down. Make sure you remember it. I mean, you will, but just make sure you write it down so it sticks in your head like cement. Thank you for watching this video.